What's up, y'all? I know I fucked off for 2 months again. Shit happens, but oh, what you gonna do? So I got 6 death metal records I want to talk about. So not really any like theme or anything, but when I was going to pull stuff, I realized every single band I'm gonna pull out is from a different country. So I guess that's today's theme or whatever. So yeah, if you can hear this blasting noise in the background. We're listening to Flesh Disguised, Here Among Thorns. This is a one-off from the early 2000s. This is like 2001 on Mighty Music. Don't remember where these guys are from. I know they're from the US, but if you want a more brutal version of the first 2 Hate Eternal records, this is the one to get. But yep, good shit. So if you like early Hate Eternal and Pessimist from New York, good stuff. But yep, check it out. So Flesh Disguised, Here Among Thorns. It should be hard to find. This was like $8 on eBay. It's definitely worth that. Alright, let's go to Sweden for this first pick. A band I've mentioned a bunch, but I got this one recently, so I'm only missing one of this band's albums now, so looking forward to getting that eventually. But one of my favorite bands, obviously, this is Necrophobic, the third Antichrist. The third record. This is from 2000 or 2001, I know. Dark Side was from 97. I believe that was the last record of the 90s because they had the... Wow, I'm drawing a blank. The Nocturnal Silence and that with both from the 90s, but yeah. So I would say this and Blood Hymns are definitely their like the least black metal influenced albums, because if you know Necrophobic, they're like death with like some melodic black metal tendencies, but this is like basically none of the black metal at all. But like riff wise, definitely production wise, it's definitely closer to straightforward old school, this evil Swedish death metal. But I'm sure you all know Necrophobic, at least you should be familiar. They're definitely one of the better bands from the Swedish scene. Definitely one of my favorite too. But anyway, there's the front. That cover art's kind of not very great, but oh well, you can barely see the guy, so it looks almost like that third Eternus album. So there you go. There's the front. Then the back, Hammerhead record reissue from, doesn't say what year, but I'm assuming pretty recently. See, it says side death, side metal, so that's pretty sweet. Insert. Cool picture. That'd be an interesting t-shirt, though you might get some very odd stares for that one. And the vinyl is just black, so I'm not gonna bother pulling that out. Yep, just black. So man, underrated record in my opinion. I know the first 2 get all the love, but this one should not be ignored. But I don't think they have a bad record. But yeah, my favorite's probably still the Nocturnal Silence. But like I said, this is definitely one of my favorites. So there you go, Necrophobic, Antichrist. I would leave a music sample, but a lot of these bigger bands, if you do that, you get a copyright claim, and that's kind of annoying. So I'm not gonna bother doing that. But oh well. So there you go, Necrophobic, third Antichrist. Going to Brazil for this one. This is Expulsor with the Unholy Ones. So these guys, I believe they had 2 albums. This is their debut from 1992. Yeah, let me see. In 1992, originally on Cogumelo. This is a 2017 Cogumelo Grey Haze Records reissue. I've actually never heard anything after this, so I don't know if it's good or not. But to me, this is almost like, well, if you know Brazilian death metal, you know it's very like crazy and chaotic. Which this is definitely, I would say, one of the better albums from that scene. Though it's not as insane as like Rebellion or early Crisium, but it's definitely kind of in that style, but with more like slower like Morbid Angel elements too. So it's like proto Crisium mixed with like Altars of Madness and Blessed Are the Sick, maybe. Especially the slow parts. Slow parts remind me a lot of Morbid Angel, specifically those first 2. But yep. So anyway, another band I see people mention very often. I kind of get why, because those other 2 bands I mentioned get the most love when it comes to the Brazilian scene, but this is definitely one of the better records from that South American scene in general of all of just extreme metal period, not let alone death metal. But anyway, there's the front. Love that weird painting. Or more like a design than painting, but you know what I mean. In the back, like I said, Grey Haze and Cogumelo. Cogumelo records are awesome, but if you want OGs of that stuff, you need to be super wealthy because that shit's expensive as hell. So good luck with that. Then the guys in the band. There you go. I swear every band from South America just looks like early Sepultura or Sarcophago with like the bullet belt and spikes. Then the insert, or lyric sheet rather. Yep, that's it. Another one just on black vinyl, so I'm not gonna bother pulling that out. But there you go. If you like super fast and crazy death metal from Brazil, this is easily one of the better albums from that scene, but I don't think get enough credit as they deserve though. Maybe because they had a small discography, but oh well. So there you go. Great shape regardless. Expulsive, the Unholy One. Check that out. Alright, next up we're gonna go to Finland for a EP that I was desperately needing to repress, but luckily Dark Descent finally did it. So you know who I'm talking about since I mentioned that. Depravity, Silence of the Centuries. Let me take this shit off. So one of the better releases from the Finnish scene, though unfortunately they're one of those bands that they never got a full length out, kind of like Ripikolu, but they were definitely, I would say, a lot less doomy than that band. Compare them, I would say they're more in common with like your demigods than like Ripikolu, because Ripikolu was a lot like doomier. Though they definitely had their very stereotypical Finnish death metal sounds, like super heavy and bassy, but they had a lot more faster parts than some of their countrymen. But for this being a EP, this sounds fantastic. So there's actually two. Side 1 is the Silence of the Centuries EP, and side B is the Remasquerade, Remasquerade EP. So the Silence of the Century one's from 93 and the other one's from 92, so there's that. So technically I guess you could say this is a compilation, but oh well. So anyway, there's the front. I love this cover art too, definitely one of the more iconic cover arts from the old Finnish scene. I like the logo too, so there you go. There is that. Then the back again, Path Through Dark Descent, who I've said before do want some of the best reissues because they all occasionally they do some represses of albums that desperately need it, so this is awesome. And it was super good price too, so there's no way in hell I was not buying this because I've wanted this for like a decade. Finnish death metal is one of my favorite sounds, but my problem with it is a lot of the bands only did like one album, or after the debut they kind of became weird, not very good, so it's kind of hard to find a Finn death band who did more than one release that was actually worth listening to, but oh well. Yep, just blacks. I think there was a color variant, but I missed out on that one. Or I still want to pay the extra $2 or whatever, but yeah. I know there was a CD press too, but this is one of those things I definitely wanted to wax, because this is, I don't know, having like these old classics, it just feels kind of wrong to have them not on vinyl for whatever reason, but I know I'm not the only one who feels that way. I believe they still have copies. If they didn't, I would be shocked, because only repressing like a couple hundred would have made no sense, but yep. Again, if you love the old Finnish death metal stuff with like early Amorphous, Demigod, Convulse, Ripikolu, Pertinence, all those guys, definitely shall not be ignored, even though it's just an EP. So yep, one of the best from that scene. Honestly, it's one of the best death metal EPs period from the early 90s, but yep, check it out. Depravity, Silence of the Centuries. And I will eventually do a favorite Finnish death metal album scene. I'm gonna do my next episode, my Around the World series, soon-ish maybe, but we'll see. I haven't decided what country you're seeing yet to discuss in that. I just go to Peru. I think, yeah, Peru. So this is Mortem with Demon Tales. So these guys, again, another underrated band, but I feel like they get more love than Depravity does, or Expulsive, maybe because they have more albums. I think they have like 4 or 5 I've shown. This before this is the demo press to wax, which is pretty sweet. This is called Evil Dead, obviously. Yep. So I believe this is their debut record from like early 90s. I know that. I'm gonna say like between 91, 94 is when this came out, though I could be wrong, but definitely I would say like this has, it's almost like a more death metal version of like early Sepultura maybe, with like some Floridian stuff too, but I would say more evil. It's not like D-side, but it's definitely almost like early Sepultura, more death metal, and a little bit of Italian black metal maybe, so like Sepultura death metal mixed with like the first Mortuary Drape, I guess, but I don't know, there's something about that reminds me, a lot of the riffs kind of remind me of that like early kind of like horror themed Italian black metal, but yep. I'm sure if you know your Peruvian death metal, which I'm not really a expert on, this is definitely one of the, I would say probably the biggest band in Peru death metal, but anyway. There's the front, love that cover, super iconic. And then the back, I know there was a alternate version of this album that had a different cover art, but this is the one I want because it is by far the better artwork. I love the logo too. And then the back, put out through Merciless Records, I think is what it says. They're from Germany, but luckily I didn't buy this from Germany. Someone from the US had it. And this is another one I've been after for a while, so I was glad to finally get a copy of this. Yeah, most of the stuff isn't new. I've had all of these for like, I think the newest one I've had is the Depravity, but that was like 2 months ago. The rest of these I've had for like 4 or 5 months, so it shows how behind I am at showing new stuff, but anyway, it's not important. Here's the lyric sheet. Nothing on that, so kind of a waste. You could put like a picture or something, but oh well. Is that it? Now it comes with this little flyer from a show they played with Ancient Gods and Cardiac Arrest. It's August 20th, 2005 in Milwaukee, so that would have been a cool show to see them in Cardiac Arrest. Again, this also comes on black vinyl, so I don't think a single album in the show today is actually colored. Yeah, no, actually no, one is the last one. But yeah, man, again, if you like the early Brazilian thrash but wanted more death metal sounding, this is a good record to check out. Like I said, because they're not Brazilian, they're from Peru, they have their own unique sound anyway, but oh well, there you go, Mortem de Montales. Alright, let's go to French. Go to France, I mean. So Roger Corvic showed this band's last album in his newest video, so I'll go backwards in time and show the debut. So this is Loud Blast with Sensorial Treatment. Yes, Sensorial Treatment. So this came out in 1988, I think. So these guys have been doing it for a long time. Their first 3 albums are pretty killer, but honestly, I'm not really familiar after Sublime Dementia. Is that the 3rd one? I think that's the 3rd one. That's like the last one I'm familiar with, so I still need to check out the modern stuff, but people have told me it's pretty good though, so this is definitely, I would say, their like least death metal. I mean, a lot of the bands back in the day, their debut was definitely a thrash influence. I would argue this is almost closer to just being the like brutal thrash record than the straight up death metal, so it's almost like more in common with like Demolition Hammer than what they would do later. But yeah, it's still pretty aggressive though. You got some like fast like drumming, but it's not like blasting fast. Definitely the typical like early, not quite blast beat death metal drumming, if you know what I mean. But yep, great record. Isn't my favorite? No, I honestly prefer the 2 after this, Disincarnate and Sublime Dementia. I think I prefer to this one, but I don't know, this was definitely a great starting place though. At least they started out on a good note, but they improved after this though. Anyway, there's the front. Kind of weird artwork, but oh well. I like the logo though, it's simple but awesome. Then the back, guys in the band. Here's the insert. And then this one is on a... fuck, I want to drop it. Yep. This is a red vinyl. Hey, it actually matches the artwork. That's sweet. And it's put out through Listenable Records, if I did not mention that. A Listenable Records reissue from 2023. And luckily, they did not screw up the artwork, because sometimes they're notorious for, like, kind of butchering the artwork, but luckily, it looks the same as the original, so that's nice. Because I know there's some versions that they did for, like, the first two Gorguts where they completely butchered the artwork, but luckily, my versions aren't like that. They actually did those ones correctly, so that's sweet. But yeah, man, if you like brutal thrash and you're not really a death metal fan, I think you could get into this one, even if you just like your aggressive thrash like Demolition Hammer. But yep, check that out. Great debut, but like I said, they got better after this one. So Sublime Dimension, Disincarnate, I prefer to this, honestly, but this one is still a classic in this one right though. But check it out. That is Loud Blast with Sensorial Torment. I'm probably butchering that, but oh well. Alrighty, last one. Let's go to Austria. Not a scene that's known for its death metal, but if you know, like, I would say the big three, these guys are probably the most popular. So this is Punch and Stench with For God, Your Soul, For Me, Your Flesh. When I say the big three, I mean these guys, Disastrous Murmur, and Disharmonic Orchestra. Though Disharmonic Orchestra, I would argue, is almost like death grind, and they became super weird avant-garde, but Punch and Stench are definitely my favorite of those three, honestly, because they're the one I'm the most familiar with, to be honest. But yeah, great record. I know they've changed styles a few times. They got like weirder on other albums, kind of grosser on others. This one I would say is almost like the first Disharmonic Orchestra record, which, though I would say that's like, this is less grindy than that, but I would say it's definitely faster than Ben Caught Buttering, which I think Ben Caught Buttering is definitely my favorite record by them. But if you want them faster and less kind of mid-paced and chunky, then Ben Caught Buttering is definitely the one to give. Like I said, Ben Caught Buttering is still my favorite though. But anyway, there's the front. I love the logo too, and I love the album covers are pretty gross. I mean, this one's nasty too, so there you go. There's the front. Love that. Then the back. Back in Black reissue from 2018. And this also has the double OP. It has some like re-recordings from 1993, which I haven't listened to those yet because I got this recently, but oh well. Gatefold, guys in the band. The lyrics, I didn't show that very good, so anyway, there's that. Double OP, both on nice silver. So I know people kind of crap on Back on Black sometimes, which I can see why, but the few records I have by them, they all sound great to me, but considering it's Punch and Stench, I'm not exactly expecting it to sound like Pink Floyd or anything, so if it sounds slightly off, oh well, but what you gonna do? You can't have everything sound absolutely perfect. See, there you go, man. If you like Punch and Stench, but you want them faster, if you only know Ben Caught Buttering, because that seems to get the most love, check it out. I don't think they have a bad record. Yes, I even like the one record that people seem to hate for some reason. What's the name of it? The fourth one. I can see the album cover in my head. Oh, it doesn't matter, whatever. I like the record too, but there you go. Punch and Stench. For God, Your Soul, For Me, Your Flesh. There you go. Oh, it's Club Mundo Bazaar is the one I'm thinking of, okay. Yeah, Club Mundo Bazaar. That record's good too, but probably my least favorite though. But there you go. Punch and Stench. So thanks for watching. I'm sorry I took the 2 months off. Hopefully this will get me motivated to get off my ass and be back to making regular content for you guys. So next episode I think I have planned, I'm going to start a new series maybe, which you'll see when I do that. I'll probably do it next week maybe, we'll see. But thanks for watching. Take care. Again, if you like what you heard, check out Flesh the Size. But yep. Anyway, Peace out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. Hails.